Hi, and welcome to Getting Started with Schoolnet. In this video, we're going to explore Schoolnet and how it can support your classroom instruction. My name is Elise Shepard, and I'm an ed tech coach for Transylvania County Schools. By the end of this video, hopefully you'll feel comfortable with basic navigation in Schoolnet. There is a bit.ly at the bottom of the screen. Feel free to pause and put that bit.ly in if you would like to follow along with this slide deck. It should also be available in other places as well, though. And the screenshots used in this video are courtesy of Rebecca Stokes, who is a Schoolnet trainer and a great resource as well. Before we dive in, I'm always curious what experience teachers and admin have with Schoolnet. It's been around for a long time. I have assessments in my Schoolnet account from back in 2013. I used to use it very frequently to build standards-based common assessments within my grade level PLC. So please take a moment to think about your experience with Schoolnet. Has it been positive? Has it just been a while? Has it been frustrating or overwhelming? Maybe you're brand new to Schoolnet. And I do want to note that if you've used Schoolnet before, this video could be a good refresher of how to navigate around Schoolnet. And if you're brand new, please note that there is a little bit of a learning curve to it, but with just a little time, you will quickly adjust. Schoolnet is the state's instructional improvement system. It is designed to align with state standards in math, ELA, and science. It supports formative assessment. It is a great tool for data-driven instruction, and it is also a great tool for educators to deliver targeted interventions. So in other words, it's like a one-stop shop to connect your teaching, assessment, and student learning. It's a very effective tool for teachers to have in their educator toolbox. Here's what we're going to cover today in this video. We're going to talk about how Schoolnet can be useful in your classroom, how to log in, what you can find on the homepage, how to look at a student's profile. We're going to briefly talk about resources for creating and administering assessments. We're going to dig into viewing your results and your reports after those assessments, and then finally, where to find resources for further training. To get started, you're going to log in to Schoolnet through your NC Ed Cloud account. Once you're in NC Ed Cloud, you will probably have to scroll down until you find this Schoolnet icon. It is a white house surrounded by a red circle. All you have to do is click on it and it will take you to your Schoolnet account. Once logged into Schoolnet, your homepage will look something like this. You'll see tools available to you and reports, and there's even these sections in here. The fancy name for them is a widget that give you quick access to information about your classes and students. So we're going to kind of start with this side of your screen and break down what you have available on that homepage. And then later we'll come back over here and we'll talk about some of the features on this menu bar. The Classroom Assessment Monitor helps you track assessment completion and performance. Think of it as your quick pulse check on how many students have completed a test, how they're doing on it, and whether you need to step in for support. You do have a drop-down arrow over here to toggle in between different assessments. And it does provide some very helpful score group comparisons, depending on the level of data available. Your classroom profile widget is unique to teachers. So if you are someone like me who just has district access to Schoolnet, you won't necessarily see a student roster over here. But if you are a teacher, you should be able to find your students, track their performance trends, and any areas that they might need intervention. Please note that you can also use the student groups sorting tool to sort students into groups based on proficiency. Schoolnet does allow you to set accommodations for your students, ensuring that your assessments are accessible to them and meeting their needs. This could mean using text-to-speech features, extended time, or other supports aligned with students' needs. I do want to note that once you put in accommodations for your students, they will be there the rest of the year. You will only have to do that process one time. You can create assessments in Schoolnet using pre-made items, or you can make your own. You can also use assessments that have been created by someone else that have been shared with you. The key is that your assessments are centered on standards mastery. In this video, I'm going to just talk briefly about creating assessments, but please note, I do have a separate video that walks you through step by step on how to create that assessment, because that's the part that can be probably the most tricky about Schoolnet. There is more than one way to create an assessment. I do have a cheat sheet linked in this slide deck, giving you step-by-step instructions on how to easily and quickly create your own assessment. Please note that your assessments can be delivered to your class. It can be delivered to targeted students in your class. It can be pushed out district-wide, so there's lots of options there. All right, so we're going to pretend that we've already made our assessment, and then I'm going to take you through the steps of what to do next. So say that you have pulled from a test item bank, you've got your assessment that you want to share with your students, and now the next thing you need to do is to schedule the assessment. Scheduling lets you set up the date, the class, and other parameters. So think of this step as sort of the bridge between building a test and delivering the test. So you can, on your screen, select your assignment. You can select whether or not you want this to go to a specific class or specific students, and then make sure in the bottom right-hand corner that you save to continue. Next, you are ready to set up your online delivery options. Typically, teachers will leave many of these settings at their default. You can customize your online test passcode, which usually consists of letters and numbers. If you want to make that something a little more kid-friendly for students to type in, you can certainly do that, especially depending on what age group you're working with. Schoolnet trainers recommend enabling the track and display student response time feature, so your reports will show how long each student took to answer each question. Other options can be set at teacher discretion. At the bottom, a checkbox down here will allow you to save these settings as my personal template, which you can then apply when creating future tests. And once again, make sure that you click Save and Publish. All right, so when it comes to administering a test or an assessment, I do want to note that you can push your assessment out to students digitally, and you can also print out a paper copy of it as well. So you do have that option, depending on your needs. And it's also important to note that you do have this awesome feature called a proctor dashboard, which I'll talk to you more in just a minute. From the student perspective, they are going to log into Schoolnet through their NC Ed Cloud account as well. Once they've logged in and clicked on the Schoolnet icon, they can type in their passcode and begin their assessment. Here are some screenshots from the student view. It's very similar to what students will see for end of grade testing. Students do have tools that will allow them to eliminate wrong answer choices. They also have a notepad that they can open up. They can review and go back to previous questions, as well as being able to click and see how many questions they have answered so far. As the teacher, you'll have access to what's called the proctor dashboard. This lets you monitor your students in real time as they're taking the assessment. You can see who has started, who is in progress, and who has already finished, as well as their results. So it's sort of your control center during testing. One of the things that I really like about the proctor dashboard is that you can sort of track in real time what questions they're having trouble with, and then you can sort of monitor or help and support as you go along. So if you're seeing that everyone's missing number 7, you might be like, hey, I want everyone to pause, go back at number 7. I want you to remember this and this and this. After testing, you will revisit that menu bar on the left of your home screen. So over here on the left, you're going to find reporting, and then you're going to access the reporting dashboard. So this is when the real power of Schoolnet comes into play. because your results are quickly available, allowing you to quickly adjust instruction and make instructional decisions without losing any time. So when you access your reporting dashboard, you will have a number of different reports available up here in these tabs at the top. Starting with the test summary, this gives you an at-glance picture of how your class overall performed. It's great for identifying immediate trends and proficiency. Next up is the standards analysis. Helps you see where students are strong and where reteaching and intervention are necessary. As you dig into your data, keep in mind how many standards that were included in the assessment. If you are towards the beginning of the school year, maybe you're only putting a few standards in at a time. And if you're towards the end of the school year, you maybe have quite a long list of standards that you're assessing throughout the school year to see where your students are at. Item analysis lets you dig into each question individually. You can see which items tripped up students and whether it was due to content, misunderstanding, question design, or sometimes even test taking strategies. So for example, on this view, we can see that it looks like quite a few students are missing number 7. So you can make sure to go back and talk about number 7 with your students or just those who missed the question to make sure that everyone's on board with what was going on there with that question. Your standards mastery report is a student-centered view on mastery level across standards. It's powerful for planning small groups, differentiating, and targeting interventions. Over on the left, you have your different standards that were on the assessment, and then it is broken into proficiency levels as you go across the screen, and you can kind of pinpoint and target those areas or standards in which students are struggling. If you want to go deeper, there are tutorials available for teachers and admin on Schoolnet's YouTube training site. So if you are in the slide deck, you can click on the link at the top, which will take you to Schoolnet's YouTube page. And then from there, you can dig into individualized webinars that they have offered. They have some really great webinars for teachers who are new to Schoolnet. If you are interested in creating assessments, formative assessment as a whole, how teachers can use that in Schoolnet in tandem, data dives. There's a great webinar on how to use Schoolnet with science curriculum, and there's also trainings for admin who are new to Schoolnet as well. So looking at it from that perspective. Thank you so much for taking the time to learn more about Schoolnet today with me. I hope you are feeling more confident about getting started with Schoolnet and excited about the ways that it can support your teaching and learning in your classroom. If you have any questions, want to collaborate, or would like some in-class support when your students begin using Schoolnet, please don't hesitate to reach out. I'm always happy to plan, co-teach, or troubleshoot right alongside you. Thank you.